Hello YouTube, welcome back to my playthrough of Apollo Justice, the Ace Attorney Trilogy. Let's continue where we left off here. December 18, 9:34 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 5. This isn't exactly how I envisioned the second day of this trial to start. But given how things ended yesterday... Good morning. The mood sure is tense. Not that that's any surprise. Oh, hey. Did you read the paper this morning, boss? Huh? The paper that came out of left field. You didn't read it? Then you don't know the big news. Somebody spotted an abominable snowman way up in the mountains. Tell me you know the difference between a paper and a tabloid, Athena. It might show up in the forest where you live, Junie. So you better watch out, okay? You really should read the story for yourself. I couldn't even begin to do it justice. Justice. Huh? Oh, poor Apollo. And it's all my fault. Dina! Oh, Junie, what was I thinking? I'm so sorry. What we found yesterday was not Apollo's dead body, thank goodness. He's been assaulted by someone with a blow to his head and was lying unconscious. Okay, I was worried that Apollo was dead. We rushed him to the hospital right away. It looks like he's gonna pull through. But it was still quite a shock to stumble onto a scene like that. Is Miss Woods alright, Athena? Well, I managed to get her to stop crying. Now she's resting on that sofa over there. I guess she really feels responsible for what happened to Apollo. Poor Junie. She believes that the reason Apollo was attacked is because he was helping her look for something in that courtroom. Oh? Guess I can see why she'd think that. By the way, how are you, doing? Who, me? Yeah, you. I know you're concerned about Miss Woods, but are you alright? Me? I'm doing just fine, boss. I mean, yeah, it was a huge shock. But I'm alright. People who've studied analytical psychology are great at times like these. After all, they've learned how to control their emotions too. Somehow, I don't think it's as easy as she makes it sound. But there's no denying, she's a trooper. Apollo doesn't remember a thing, does he? Yeah. He can't recall anything from the time right before he was assaulted. Nothing about what he was doing in courtroom number 4 or who assaulted him. The doctor said it's probably due to that hit he took to the head. Assaulted in a court of law and losing your memory at that. I know how that feels. But who in the world would do such a thing? Huh, Mr. Wright. So, in the second Ace Attorney game, there was actually, the first case, Phoenix actually got hit on the back of the head by the killer, who actually tried to take his phone, who Phoenix had his phone as evidence, but he mixed it up with Phoenix's phone. I remember that case. Just wait till I get my hands on the coward who hurt our Apollo. I think it's the bomb guy, that corrupt cop. Now, Athena, I thought you said you were in control of your emotions. Let's just focus on helping Miss Woods, okay? But I admit I'm just as upset as you. Oh, okay, boss. You're right. Apollo's assailant can wait until after we clear Junie's name. Well, it's probably the same person. That's the spirit. Now, let's see. I'd better check the court record one more time before the trial starts. Earth to Mr. Wright, I'm ready whenever you are. Alright. Let's get ready to rumble. You bet. With everything that happened with Apollo, I didn't have time for a proper investigation. I can't let that stop me, though. I have to get this right for Miss Wood's sake, and Apollo's, too. December 18, 9:50 a.m. District Courtroom number 5. Day 2 court is now in session. All rise. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Juniper Woods. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready, Your Honor. Now then, I believe I instructed the prosecution to further their investigation. Were you able to locate the remote switch in question? I'm afraid the remote switch is still missing, Your Honor. I must say I'm disappointed, Mr. Payne. Not angry, just disappointed. I apologize, Your Honor. Aha, looks like the prosecution just as unprepared as I am. There is a separate matter, however, that I would like to bring up during this trial. A separate matter, you say? And what might that be? I assume you are aware that another incident occurred during yesterday's trial. I'm speaking, of course, of the assault of Mr. Justice in the ruins of courtroom number 4. Oh, why is he bringing that up? Yes, what a truly harrowing experience it must have been. Poor Mr. Justice. At the time of the attack, Mr. Justice was not alone. He was with the defendant, Miss Juniper Woods. What? He isn't going where I think he's going with this, is he? The prosecution wishes to indict Miss Woods on the charge of Mr. Justice's assault. Well, what happened to Apollo Justice? That wasn't assault. This term is wrong. Basically, here's the thing, what people don't understand about assault. Assault, you don't actually need to touch somebody to assault them. Is if you just, if you feel physically threatened by somebody, that's pretty much assault. So, you know, if somebody's, like, trying to basically break through your door, and, you know, they're not even touching you, but they're trying to break through your door, and you're on the other end of the door trying to push them back, that's assault. Battery is when you are actually physically hitting them with something. You're hitting them, you know, or hitting them with an object. So what happened to Apollo was more of battery, which is a more serious charge. But that, I don't even think that it's battery. I think it's attempted murder. The fact that the killer hit him on the back of the head with something hard, I think that's attempted murder. The prosecution wishes to indict Miss Woods on the charge of Mr. Justice's assault. Order in the court. Mr. Payne, this incident under deliberation here is in the courtroom bombing. The assault, Mr. Justice, has nothing to do with this trial. But I believe there is connection between this case and Mr. Justice's assault. Please take a moment to consider these facts. Both events occurred in courtroom number 4. This is the location in courtroom number 4 where the unconscious Mr. Justice was discovered. As you can see, it's quite close to where Detective Arm's body was found. Courtroom number 4 diagram. A diagram of the courtroom as it was when Apollo was discovered after the assault. The question is, why did the culprit feel the need to maliciously attack Mr. Justice? Why indeed? What do you believe their motive was to be, Mr. Payne? I believe Mr. Justice found something in the courtroom while Miss Woods was with him. Evidence that fingered her as the perpetrator of the bombing. You mean he found some incriminating evidence? Precisely, and so I surmised that the defendant picked up a piece of rubble and hit Mr. Justice on the back of the head in order to silence him. Judy would never do such a thing. She was devastated when we found Apollo hurt like that. Miss Sykes, please control your outbursts. It is the prosecution's belief that by deliberating on Mr. Justice's assault, we will draw it ever closer to the truth of the courtroom bombing itself. Very well. Miss Woods is hereby officially indicted on the charges of assaulting Mr. Justice. That's stupid. You have no evidence that she did it. You have no evidence, Judge. What? Why are you listening to Mr. Toopy over there? Although, considering our conversation yesterday, I think Apollo might have figured something out. Wonder what it was. He told me I'm going to look for evidence to clear your name, Juniper. Maybe the two incidents really are related after all. I would like to start by hearing from the defendant herself. Very well, bailiff. Please bring Miss Woods to the witness stand. I'm sorry. A cough. Oh, so I'm not supposed to read that. I can't seem to stop. Miss Woods. Guess she's still really upset about Apollo. Miss Woods, you went to the ruins of courtroom number 4 of Mr. Justice, did you not? Yes, I did. Good. If you would, then please testify about what happened in the court. Alone with Apollo. During the trial yesterday, I was overcome by a fit of coughing. Apollo stayed with me and we went to the courtroom ruins together. But then I was called back to this courtroom to give testimony. Apollo insisted on staying behind in courtroom number 4. I swear I didn't attack Apollo. Why would I ever hurt such a kind person? So Mr. Justice stayed by your side while you were feeling unwell. What an admirable young man. I thought his loud voice was his only outstanding feature. Oh man, Judge. He may look like a little imp at times, but Apollo can be really nice too. I hope she didn't hurt her wrist backhanding that one out. But one has to wonder, why did Mr. Justice stay behind in the ruins? I think Apollo might have figured something out. Something? What kind of something? Something to do with the courtroom bombing, kind of something, I think. Oh ho, new evidence for the case, was it? That's a very big kind of something indeed. I believe so. He mentioned looking for some evidence when I was called away. Just as I thought, there is a connection between the two incidents. But the defendant has told a very big lie, Your Honor. What lie is that? When she learned Mr. Justice would be looking for evidence, she attacked him. She attacked him to give herself the chance to destroy that evidence. No, I never. Miss Woods repaid Mr. Justice's kindness with violence. We found the proof of her foul deed here in the courtroom ruins. What on earth? Do you see it? There in front of Mr. Justice's right hand. Witness the message he left for us. It's written in blood. Woods. Why isn't that... That's right, Your Honor. It says Woods. Capital letters. What? I submit that Mr. Justice left with the name of his attacker before he fainted. Apollo's assault photo added to the court record. Apollo shown collapsed on the floor. Bloody writing is also visible. No, that can't be true. Why would Apollo write my name? Mr. Wright, the nerve of him leaving that message. Why would he do this? Hey, don't take it out on me. I don't understand it any more than you do. When we discovered Apollo yesterday... Apollo, remember, there was no message. No. Ah! We didn't even have a chance to rush over to him. As soon as security heard Athena's scream, they ran in and cordoned off the area. After that, they were there in the courtroom number 4 of Apollo the whole time. We couldn't investigate anything ourselves and had to leave everything to the police. Still, I never thought they would find some bloody writing there. Now then, please begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Alone with Apollo. During the trial yesterday, I was overcome by a fit of coughing.
Hold it!
Do you always cough when you get nervous, Miss Woods? Yes. Mr. Wright, please do not make Miss Woods nervous by pressing her so ruthlessly. She's my client, but that barely even qualified as a quasi-question. Let's help her relax with a little small talk before we dive into the cross-examination. You know, ask her about her hobbies and her crushes and stuff. Her crushes? Really? I don't know about this. Apollo stayed with me and we went to the courtroom ruins together.
Hold it!
Why exactly did you go to the courtroom ruins? We went to look for my medicine. To stop my coughing. Your medicine? Why would your medicine be in courtroom number 4? I dropped it in the heat of the moment. Bumrap Riney, he was keeping my medicine safe for me. He has a little compartment that I can put things in, you see? And Phony Fanti has the same type of pocket. That's where the bomb was inserted. I had put my medicine for my coughing fits inside Bumrap Riney. When I told Apollo about it, he said he'd help me go look for him. There was so much rubble in there. I was worried, but there was no rubble or anything in front of the witness stand. So when we got inside, Apollo went straight there, and started looking for my Rhynie in that area. It was so nice of him to do that for me, in spite of all of his injuries. Apollo is so strong and kind, just like the trees of the forest. The way she makes him sound, you'd think Apollo was some kind of ancient god. Oh wait. Yeah, so Apollo is a Greek god too. So that's why you went to the ruins, I see. That seems to be quite an important fact. Please add it to your testimony, Miss Woods. Apollo started looking for Bumrap Rhynie near the witness stand, where there was no rubble. The area around the witness stand. Are you sure about that? I'm sorry, did I say something wrong? No, of course not. I was just testing my hearing. Must not upset her. Must not upset her. Yes, I'm sure that's where we search first. Okay, wait, something's off here. There was no rubble. No, it looks like there's tons of rubble.
Objection!
So he started his search at the witness stand, you say? That's right. I guess maybe he wanted to start from the furthest point in the room. He was being so brave. And strong. But that's odd. Under the circumstances, he shouldn't have been capable of that. But he was, and still is. He might not look it, but he really is brave, and kind, too. No, that's not the part I'm finding fault with. Someone has a crush on Apollo. What are you claiming is, what you are claiming is something that no one should have been able to. But I should think that anyone can be brave and kind if they wanted to be, Mr. Wright. True, anyone can be brave and kind, but if you would please take a look at this diagram. With the courtroom in the state, how is it possible to walk up to the witness stand? Oh. I see your point. The rubble blocks off access to the area around the witness stand.
Does such a tiny inconsistency even matter? Perhaps the witness is simply misremembering it.
Great, now I'm not so sure it matters.
A real man doesn't make mountains out of molehills, you know.
But that's precisely what Mr. Wright does best. I call slander, Your Honor. So, was it really impossible to approach the witness stand? I have to say, it's a bit hard to tell with any accuracy from just this diagram. Mr. Payne, do you have any other photos of the crime scene?
Let me see, Your Honor. Yes. I have one more. Here it is. It's a more pulled-back version of the photo I presented before.
Apollo is shown collapsed on the floor. The bloody writing is also visible. Huh. What's that hunk of metal on the wheels? Mr. Payne, is a metallic object in that photo Mr. Tonate's bomb transport case?
That's right. Is there some problem?
Yes, that transport case was there in courtroom number 4 when the bomb went off. It must have been there ever since. Oh, that's it. Miss Woods, have you remembered something? Yes, I just realized. Its position. It's different from before. Its position. The position of what? The position of that big metal thing. The bomb transport case. Yes. When Apollo and I went there, it was in a different place. Where the case in the photo was open space, so it was easy to search the stand. I see. So where was this transport case when you and Mr. Justice saw it? As I recall, I think it was more to the right. The right? Then that means... in that case, the case was over there at the time of Apollo's attack?
Who cares where the transport case was when? What difference does it make? Well,
He wouldn't have... if it was on the right. He wouldn't have been able to write Woods.
it has nothing to do at all with what we were talking about.
Objection!
Where the transport case was has everything to do with this discussion. In fact, it's so important it's enough to turn the prosecutor's argument on its ear.
What?
Well, that certainly sounds very relevant indeed. And you sound as though you know where the case was at the time of the attack.
Yes, Your Honor.
This diagram represents the crime scene as shown in the photo. And this is where the transport case was at the time of the assault of Mr. Justice. Alright, I have this. The bomb transport case was here at the time of Apollo's attack. On this woods here. Your Honor, I assert this is where the transport case was at the time of the assault. But that's...
inconceivable.
Miss Woods, was this where the transport case was when you saw it? Yes. Yes, that's where it was. Thank you, Miss Woods. I'm sure the court has noticed an interesting fact about this position. The transport case covers up the writing in blood. Exactly. If the transport case was in the position at the time of the assault, then no message could have been written there, because the case was in the way. Which leads us to conclude that Mr. Justice couldn't have left that bloody writing.
Why should we believe the defendant's claim that the case was in a different position? She's obviously lying.
The fact that the case was moved after the assault of Mr. Justice is proved by more than Miss Wood's testimony alone.
What? And where is this proof you're talking about?
It's right here in the crime photo. I'm keen to see this proof myself, Mr. Wright. What in this photo indicates that the transport case was moved after the assault? Oh, this. The tracks.
Take that!
All the proof you need, Your Honor, is right here. I'm afraid I don't follow. No, it's the tracks. Oh, great. Earned a penalty. Okay. Another try, Mr. Wright. It's the tracks here.
Take that!
Ah, great. I'm getting another penalty now.
Take that!
Please take a look at the mark that runs over Mr. Justice's bandage. So it was the cart going over the bandages. I see it, but what is it? This mark was made by one of the casters from the transport case carrying the bomb. As the case was moved, it ran over his bandages. In other words, the transport case was originally to the right of Mr. Justice. Then after Mr. Justice was assaulted, the transport case was moved.
What?
Just as Mr. Woods said, the case was covering the writing of the time of the assault. Therefore, it was impossible for Mr. Justice to have left that message in blood. No! You did it, boss. It was a real nail-biter, but you pulled it off. Yep, that should bring down the prosecution's claim like a house of cards. Order in the court. Mr. Wright, that was a very clever deduction. It was nothing, Your Honor. Nothing but pure genius. Take that. Boss, I'm sensing a definite smug and braggy vibe coming off you. I have just one question, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. If Mr. Justice didn't leave this message in blood, then who did? Okay, yeah, this is the part of Ace Attorney that I'll say that is unrealistic, because this would never happen in real court. In real court, if you could prove that the person did not do it, the judge is not going to stop the trial in the middle and say, like, you know, if the person did it, then didn't do it, then who did? That's the thing about this, is the point of a lawyer is just to prove that their defendant did not commit the crime. That is pretty much the proof of, that is the point of a lawyer. The lawyer is not there to prove who committed the crime. So the lawyer isn't going to be there to prove, basically who did it. They might suggest, who did it, but they're not going to be there to basically prove who did it. So we've basically accomplished what we've came here to do. We've accomplished that she had nothing to do with Apollo being attacked. But yet now the judge is asking that this is really unrealistic. Huh? What? Oh. Well, looks like I should have taken that train of thought through to the last station. Well, you don't need to, because like I said, this question is irrelevant. Well, I've heard a lot about this.
So this is Mr. Wright's famous bluffing technique, is it?
Ah, this feeling, it brings back memories of the old days. Back when you carved out a name of yourself by bluffing your way through thick and thin. Gee, Mr. Wright, the judge kind of makes you sound no better than a two-bit con man.
You made your argument with such confidence, Mr. Wright. Now I'd like to hear your answer with just as much confidence.
Hey, until the judge asked a question, you didn't catch on either, Buster. What now, boss?
Heh. I hope you didn't bluff your way into a corner.
Think, Phoenix, think. There must be a way through this. I have to dig my way to the truth somehow. Who could have written that message in blood? The culprit. Apollo didn't leave that bloody writing. Maybe it was Apollo's attacker who wrote it and made it look like Apollo did it. That seems like the most reasonable explanation. But wait a minute. I just realized something, boss. What is it? Look at the amount of blood in the photo. It doesn't look like Apollo bled very much. I wonder if it's even possible to write out words with just this much. Hey, you're right. Good thing Apollo didn't lose that much blood. That might be a factor in why he survived the assault. And since there was so little blood, that pretty much rules out his attacker, huh? I guess so. But if it wasn't his attacker, then who else could it have been? Who could have written that message in blood? Someone else? If it wasn't Apollo, who could have left a bloody message? Assaulted during the trial yesterday. Thankfully, he's going to be okay, but he's still at the hospital undergoing treatment. Ted Tonate. Yeah, so you guys told me that his name was a reference to detonate. I didn't notice that. Ted Tonate. Yes.
Take that!
This person left a bloody writing? And what do you base this claim on? I do really need to base my claim on something. Boss. Of course you do. Don't tell me you don't have anything at all to back up your assertion. Nothing in particular, really. That won't do, Mr. Wright. But a penalty will make up for your deficiency very nicely. Ugh. So it wasn't Apollo or his attacker. When you think about who was at the crime scene, there's only one other person who it could really be. Oh yeah, wasn't there another person who shed blood at the crime scene? It wasn't Apollo who could have left a bloody message. The detective who was heading up the investigation into the bombing incident. Her? She died the other day, though. That's what I'm a bit confused on right now, and I'm struggling on the first case right now.
Take that!
To be honest, I don't actually have any real proof of this. But I've come this far, there's no turning back now. Besides Apollo, there's one more person who shed blood at the crime scene. A person who shed blood? You don't mean... Oh, but I do. I believe it was Candace Arn who left behind this message in blood. What? What? Detective Arm? Are you sure you know what you're doing here? Not really.
Objection!
What kind of ridiculous assertion is this? If you had said the attacker left a message to throw people off, it might have made sense.
At first glance, that would seem to be the most reasonable explanation. However, Apollo didn't shed enough blood to write such an extensive message. Uh-oh. Ah, I see. Even the photo makes it clear there wasn't enough blood to write all those letters. And Mr. Justice did survive. I suppose he didn't bleed very extensively in that case.
Well, why would Detective Arm write the defendant's name? There is no connection between the two whatsoever.
And I didn't even know the lady who was killed.
I admit the investigation didn't turn up any connection between the victim and the defendant. They had never even met each other.
That's very true. Well then, let's see. Then maybe the intended meaning of the message is not what it appears to be. The intended meaning? Not what it appears to be. Maybe the message was not intended to be Woods. Coming from you, that's quite the bold statement, Mr. Wright. You wish to assert that this bloody writing could have some other meaning. Yes, Your Honor. For something I pulled out of a wormhole, it could turn out to be true, right?
It clearly says Woods. Anyone can plainly see. What other meaning could it possibly have?
But Candace Arden was a detective. Maybe Woods only means something to the police. Like a police scanner code, for example. I didn't think of that.
Hehehe. You may have tricked his honor, but you'll never get the best of me. I have a thing for studying on the weekends, as you may have already guessed. And there is no such radio code as Woods in this state, dear Mr. Wright.
Is that a fact? Don't look at me. I know as much as you do about police codes. Enough of this. I was quite taken with the defense's new theory. But if they can't substantiate it with anything, then I must end things here. No, please wait, Your Honor. Very well, but before we discuss this theory any further, I demand a plausible explanation. So, Mr. Wright, what is the true meaning of the bloody writing? Well, I believe it's... And no stalling! If you can't come up with an answer quickly, I will declare this discussion officially over. I'm in trouble now. What other meaning could it have been besides the obvious one? Maybe it means something in another language. Or maybe it's a code. Think, Phoenix. You can do this. Which piece of evidence will tell us what the word Woods really means? What does Woods really mean? Guilty, I'm convinced it has something to do with this. Impact of a flat object. Could it be the weight and the dimensions? Woods?
Take that!
What exactly is your point, Mr. Wright? I thought this evidence was supposed to tell me what woods really means. But doesn't it, Your Honor? Are you asking me or telling me? I guess I'll let you be the judge of that. Yes, I'll do the judging around here. And I judge that you deserve a penalty. That didn't go over well. But I just know there's something here that looks like the word woods. Now then, let's try that again, shall we? Wait, that's not the whole message. That's not the whole message. There's woods, and then there's another letter at the end there. Woods, can't tell what it is. It got, like, destroyed afterwards. Something else was written there. You can see there's an extra letter there. Woods. What could the meaning be? Wait a second. Wait a second, wait. I think I have it. Oh, oh. Somebody changed the message. I think that's what it was. Wait, I wonder if my theory on this is true. Somebody changed the message. So, if you look at it, doesn't it look a bit weird? Hang on a second. I think they changed the letters of this. L1001. L and then 1 connected into a W. O D and then 5. They changed the letters. They changed the letters. They were writing the letters of the bomb case. That's what she was writing the letters of. And then somebody changed it to write Woods. That's what it is. L1001. Look, it was L1001. Yeah. That was changed. It was the 1 was changed into a D. The L and the 1 were changed into a W. I'm pretty confident it's this. I'm gonna save my game just to be safe, but I'm pretty confident it's this.
Take that!
The bomb transport case. I was right. I've about had it up to here with your shenanigans, Mr. Wright. Take a look at the numbers on this case, Your Honor. L10015R. Doesn't this string look vaguely familiar? L100. What does that have to do with anything?
Heh. What could those numbers possibly have to do with a case at hand?
Now please, take a look at the bloody writing shown in the crime photo. Oh, I think I see it. That a girl, that's one on my side. It says Woods. Or you could say it's a horse of a different color, Your Honor. The first character isn't a W. It's actually an L and a 1. The next 2 are zeros. Oh, my goodness. The true meaning behind the bloody writing isn't in Mr. Wood's name. It's a number engraved on this bomb transport case.
What are you talking about? The next part doesn't make any sense. The next number is a 1, but the bloody writing says D.
Objection!
But the number on the case and the bloody writing can be made to match up quite easily. This is how the number on the transport case can be made to match the bloody writing.
Erase 1 line, erase 2 lines, read it backwards. Erase 1 line. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to see that, S. Okay. I'm gonna go erase 2 lines. Please erase the third downward stroke of the W and the curved part of the D. Yeah, see? I was right. Well, would you look at that? Yeah, so I was right. The killer edited it. L100IS. No, Your Honor. It isn't meant to be read as a word. It's the number L10015. Which is, if you take away the final R, is the exact same number that's on the bomb transport case.
Erase 2 lines and they match up, you say? Well, I can change anything into anything else by simply erasing 2 lines. What if we erase 2 lines from your name? Would you be happy as Mr. Right?
Well, would you, Mr. Right? Ugh. The only right spelling is right. Okay, I'm doing pretty well here, and I think I've drawn the right conclusion. Detective Arn's real message to us in the bomb transport case number. Your Honor, the 2 lines were added by the real culprit to intentionally mislead people. Okay, yeah. What? The original message Detective Arn left behind was a transport case number. But whoever assaulted Apollo changed the message. If you're right, boss, then what do you suppose Detective Arn was trying to tell us? Good question. What does this number represent?
Do you see this number here? That is my identification number.
Candace Arn lost her life in the courtroom bombing. Her dying message can only have one purpose.
No.
To tell us the name of the one responsible for the bombing. Well, don't keep us in suspense, Mr. Wright. Tell us who she was trying to name. The culprit that the victim was trying to identify is none other than Ted Tonate.
Take that!
The defense wishes to indict Mr. Ted Tonate on the charge of the courtroom bombing. Ted Tonate? Apparently, disabling bombs is Mr. Tonate's only specialty. Somehow the victim must have realized he was the bomber. So when she was caught in the blast, she left his bomb transport case number as her dying message. She used Mr. Tonate's own ID number to finger him for the crime.
Why would anyone go out of their way to write an ID number? Wouldn't they simply write the person's name?
He's got a good point there. What do you have to say to that, Mr. Wright? That only Detective Arn would know the answer to that, but allow me to offer a theory. Perhaps Detective Arn couldn't recall Mr. Tonate's name in the heat of the moment. As I recall, this was the first meeting between the two. It's entirely possible they wouldn't have been familiar with each other. Or maybe using the ID number was a way to hide its true meaning from the real culprit, thus lowering the odds that they would erase the bloody writing. But no matter what the reason, the important thing is the meaning behind her message. The fact remains, she wrote Mr. Tonate's ID number.
Now just one moment here. There hasn't been any proof yet that it was indeed Detective Arn who wrote it. The bloody writing wasn't found during the investigation after the blast. If Detective Arn had left a message, it should have been found at the time.
Naturally, Mr. Tonate hid it before anyone could discover it. And there's a simple explanation for how he was able to do so.
What?
Mr. Tonate was able to cover the message up because he's a stickler for the details. The first to find a body, wearing those weird goggles, no, is the first to find a body. The first person to discover the bloody writing was Mr. Tonate himself.
I was the first one on the scene after the explosion. I went there to ensure safety, but I ended up discovering a dead body.
When Mr. Tonate saw that the victim had written his ID number, he used the bomb transport case to cover up the bloody writing as a stopgap measure. Oh, so that's why the message in blood was under the transport case. He didn't have enough time to try and scrub away the writing. If he didn't report the body right away, he would look suspicious. So those letters lived on to serve another function. Well, Mr. Tonate used them in another incident. Oh, the assault of Mr. Justice. Exactly. Mr. Tonate hit up a plan to use the bloody writing for his own purposes. So he didn't clean it away, instead he made it look like Mr. Justice wrote it, by adding 2 lines to the writing Detective Arn left behind. Yep. He changed the meaning of the message. He made it look like Mr. Justice was accusing Miss Woods of the attack. So that means the only person who could have altered the bloody writing was the courtroom bomber, who was the same person that assaulted Mr. Justice. And that person is Ted Tonate. Ah! Order in the court. Order, I say. It looks like we will have to hear from the bomb specialist himself. Mr. Payne, please have Mr. Tonate take the witness stand.
Yes, Your Honor.
That was great, Mr. Wright. Just doing what I do best, which is flying by the seat of my pants.
Dismantling the case is yours. Do you think you can handle it? I look forward to seeing you try.
I finally drawn Mr. Tonate back onto the witness stand. Looks like you'll get your wish, Goggle Man. Now watch me take your lies apart. Mr. Tonate, I'm afraid we have a few more questions for you.
I understand the situation, Your Honor. I was keeping a close eye on the proceedings from the gallery. The allegations are all laughable.
Objection!
I wouldn't be laughing if I were you, Mr. Tonate. The message in blood matches your ID number. The same ID number that is there on that bomb transport case.
Such a far-fetched theory. No better than a tangled ball of wires. I'll have them untangled for you in no time at all.
You were the first person on the scene after Detective Arm left her message in blood. You were the only one who could have hidden the writing and then used it again later.
I see. ×2. But then, let me ask you. Do you have any proof that I, Detective Arm, wrote that message?
That's a very good question. Well, do you, Mr. Wright? Best way to prove that Detective Arm wrote that message is to analyze the DNA. That would be it. I mean, I'm gonna save here just in case, but I think it's analyze the DNA because you'll see it's her blood. Analyze the handwriting. And now I'm getting a bit thrown off. Analyze the DNA. Your Honor, I requested a DNA test to be performed in the blood itself. Once we know who it is, it'll be obvious who wrote the message. Very well. Bailiff, please put in a request for a DNA test with the forensics team. Yes, Your Honor. It will be some time before we have the results of the analysis. Until then, let's hear more from the witness.
I would like nothing more, Your Honor.
Yeah, so the reason I didn't choose the writing one is because you're writing with your finger, you know, and anybody's handwriting is gonna be off and you're gravely injured.
I want the court to hear how ridiculous the defense's theory is.
Okay, this guy, I'm gonna enjoy bringing this guy down now. After the explosion.
I admit I was the first one on the scene after the explosion. But there was no bloody writing there at the time. Anyway, there's no way Detective Arm could have written it. She struck her head on the rubble and died near the courtroom entrance. She was too far away from where the bloody message was found.
So you're saying that the victim's body was nowhere near where the writing was?
Precisely. It is all as plain as day. She could not have written it. It's true that the body was discovered near the entrance to the courtroom. Please have a look at this crime scene photo. As you can see, there's blood in the rubble near the victim's body. She must have died after hitting her head there.
Crime scene photo of the aftermath of courtroom number 4 bombing and the victim. I see. Alright then, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness.
Do you have what it takes to take my infallible testimony apart?
After the explosion.
I admit I was the first one on the scene after the explosion.
Hold it!
Why were you the first person on the scene?
To secure the area, it is regulation for a bomb disposal specialist to enter first.
In other words, you had the opportunity to alter the bloody writing there, didn't you?
Well...
Objection!
Mr. Wright, please don't interrupt. Mr. Tonate is about to give testimony that will show just how wrong your reasoning is.
Darn, I think he was just about to say something interesting too.
When I went in and saw the aftermath, well, it was quite a disaster. But there was no bloody writing there at the time.
Hold it!
You were able to tell this even with those goggles on.
With these goggles, there is no way I could have missed something like that. I can see quite well with them. In fact, I can see every hair on your spiky head. Oh, you have a few grays, Mr. Wright.
What? Or Mr. Wright, you're always working so hard keeping our office together. Wait a minute, I don't have any gray hairs.
Just kidding.
Objection!
I object to witness attempt to prematurely give me gray hair. Mr. Tonate, this court frowns upon untoward comments on a person's hair or lack thereof coming from the judge. I'm sensing a great wave of sorrow coming from the judge.
My apologies, Your Honor. May I please continue my testimony? Anyway, there is no way Detective Arn could have written it.
Hold it!
If she didn't write it, then who do you propose did?
Mr. Justice, of course. Just before dying, he wrote the name of his attacker, Juniper Woods, but he didn't die. A final message from your poor subordinate.
Poor Mr. Justice, I'm starting to get all misty-eyed. Apollo's not dead, folks.
So how can you be sure it wasn't Detective Arm who wrote the message? It is very simple. She had struck her head on the rubble and died near the courtroom entrance. She was too far away from where the bloody message was found.
Hold it!
Do you imagine she was thrown back by the force of the blast?
A bomb can inflict damage not only from the explosion itself, but also substantial secondary damage from the blast wind. Detective Arm unfortunately hit her head on some rubble. It stated in her autopsy report as well, cause of death, trauma to the back of the head.
Ah, the autopsy report. I better take another look at that.
Now, do you see, Detective Arm could not have written that message? The reason for that being... she was too far away from where the bloody message was found.
Hold it!
Isn't it possible she could have crawled to the area of the bloody message?
If that were true, then how did she return to the spot near the entrance?
Maybe she crawled back after writing it. Hey, did this guy just me? Would you like to get down on the floor?
Would you like to get down on the floor and give us a demonstration of your theory?
Huh? No, thank you. The victim's body and the writing are several yards from each other. There's no way she could reach. Quite an conundrum. So that means something is off somewhere. There must be a contradiction. Ah, maybe the body was moved. But that doesn't explain how blood got onto the rubble. What if that was done by the real culprit after the fact? If that's the case, then something about that might contradict the evidence we have. Cause of death, trauma to the back of the head caused by impact of a flat object. Time of death, between 8 and 11 a.m. So apparently that's her on the left side. It says she was struck by a flat object.
Objection!
You are a terrible liar, Mr. Tonate. Take a look at this autopsy, specifically the part about Detective Arn's head injury. Cause of death, trauma to back of head, caused by impact with a flat object.
Yes? What about it?
Rubble isn't flat. Now take a good look at the bloody piece of rubble. It's sharp and pointed. I can't read that. Hey, you're right, boss. It is pointy. Just like your hair. That is odd, isn't it? What could be the meaning of this contradiction? I believe it means the victim did not hit her head on this piece of rubble. The bloodstain you see is just another fabrication. Its purpose is to mislead us into thinking the victim died near the courtroom entrance.
Are you claiming the culprit moved the victim's body?
That's exactly what I'm claiming. The victim hit her head at some other location, most likely on the floor or some other flat surface. And this location was somewhere near where the bloody writing was found. In that case, she definitely could have written the message. Your Honor, I have the results of the blood stain analysis. Very good timing. Let's take a look. According to this report, the message was written in Detective Arm's blood. And as the defense claims, only the parts of the message that were added afterwards were written in Mr. Justice's blood. It would appear that the defense's assertion is correct after all. A report was done that proved Detective Arm's writing was done in Detective Arm's blood. Yes, you did it. You were right, boss. Now I have to drive it home. I'll have to take a good look at the bloody writing analysis later. Now he's panicking. Mr. Tonate, it is now apparent that you have told several lies to this court. I hope you have some sort of explanation for yourself.
Fine, I will confess.
Confess? You will? Then why are you so calm?
This time I will tell the truth.
Oh, this better be good. The truth.
It is true that Detective Arm wrote my ID number. She very plainly wrote L10015R. I was shocked, but I did not detonate the bomb. Detective Arm must have mistaken me for the real bomber. Not wanting to be accused, I moved the body and covered the writing. My bad.
Well, you just basically committed perjury in court. I see, so it is your assertion that you merely moved the body, is that it? No.
That is correct, I did not kill Detective Arm.
Oh well, if that's all you did then. Judge, don't be an idiot. Wait a minute. Then in itself is a criminal act. Glad to see you finally cross that finish line, Your Honor. Yeah. Very well then. You cross-examination, please, Mr. Wright. The truth.
It is true that Detective Arm wrote my ID number.
So you admit that you actually did see the bloody writing that Detective Arm, left.
My bad. I should have said so from the outset.
And you are sure it was your ID number?
I'm sure it was definitely my ID number. That number was assigned exclusively to me by the police department. That number is assigned to my goggles as well.
So those funky things were provided by the police department.
Although these are special goggles customized by me personally. Speaking of personally, these sunglasses of mine were custom made as well. They were specially created to be particularly dark and shiny.
Speaking of special, my gavel is made of mahogany and was custom made as well. Oh my god, we're getting sidetracked. It was specially created to make a particular loud and resounding sound. Wish I had something to brag about. Be all of it, of that as it may, I just want to reconfirm you saw the bloody writing correctly, and that it was your ID number.
That is correct. My ID number was written in blood on the floor. She very plainly wrote L10015R. I was shocked.
Hold it!
L10015R. And it was written after the bomb went off in the courtroom.
Correct. I didn't know why she would write it, so that sent me into a panic.
Sounds like you were in quite a tizzy. If I were in his shoes, I guess I would have psyched me out too. I can't imagine coming across a message "Psychs" written in blood.
If I saw gasp and pain written in blood, I'd certainly make me gasp. Rest assured, Mr. Tonate, I understand how you must have felt.
And so you discovered your ID number written in blood at the scene, and?
That is right. I saw it with my own eyes. It is very clearly said L10015R. So this guy agreed to interfere. This guy literally, you know, this is what I say is a bit unrealistic about Ace Attorney, because this guy admitted to basically tampering with a crime scene, and we're still taking his testimony seriously. He probably would have been thrown off the stand at this point. But I did not detonate the bomb.
Hold it!
Didn't you? The victim may have had special knowledge of who the bomber was.
I have no idea what thoughts Detective R may have had inside her head.
It's not like I ever dismantled her mind to check. Mr. Wright,
If you have suspicions about the witness, let's see your proof. Evidence is everything in a court of law. Even school children know that. How many years have you been a defense attorney now? Cut me some slack, will you? Don't feel bad, boss. You just get your attorney's badge back after all. In that sense, you're still more of a beginner than I am. I suppose I shouldn't be thankful you're not a licensed psychologist. Mr. Tonate, please continue with your testimony. With pleasure, my ID number was left at the scene, but... Detective Arm must have mistaken me for the real bomber.
Hold it!
By mistaken, do you mean you had nothing to do with the explosion? That is correct. That is why I was so shocked when I saw my ID number. The victim may have suspected Mr. Tonate for no reason other than the fact that, as the bomb specialist, he was in charge of the bomb. In other words, a false accusation. It is vocational discrimination, I say. I do not support discrimination of any kind. Well spoken, Your Honor. If the victim had been found to be killed with a gavel, Mr. Blue Suit over there probably would have pinned the crime on you. He would? Well, that just wouldn't do. Mr. Wright, if you dare try to pin anything on me, I will find you in contempt of court. But I've never even tried to harm a hair on a strand on your beard, Your Honor. Well said, Mr. Bain. Because I am so closely associated with bombs. I was afraid I would be prosecuted if anyone saw the bloody writing. Well, you're making yourself more suspicious. Not wanting to be accused, I moved the body and covered the writing. My bad.
Hold it!
No, not my bad. You didn't think to clean away the bloody writing? I didn't have time. By the time I found the message, the blood was already dry. The police were waiting just outside for me to secure the room. I still had to move the body. I was in a panic. With no time to spare, I temporarily covered the writing of my case. Didn't you think the police would find it during their investigation? Regulation stipulates only specialists may touch transport cases because of the danger, you see. I thought I would clean up the writing once they were finished. My bad. My bad? Does he really think that will just magically smooth everything over? This guy is something else. And I don't believe Detective Arm's dying message was just a mistake. He won't wiggle out of that this easily. What did Mr. Tonate see when he first discovered the bloody writing? There has to be a contradiction hidden in his testimony somewhere. It's true that the detective wrote my ID number. He very plainly wrote L10015R and was shocked. But I did not detonate the bomb. DNA analysis definitely proves the blood in the writing to be that of the victim, Candace Arm, age 27. However, the lines that were added later were found to be written in the blood of Apollo Justice, age 23. What is the contradiction here? I only have one chance to get this right, too. I have to really think about this one. Save my game here, too. There's something off in this testimony here.
Very plainly. The last letter is gone.
Objection!
I just want to make doubly sure that L10015R is really what you saw written in blood.
Yes, it is very clearly said L10015R.
That's odd, because that's not what I see.
Objection!
What on earth are you babbling on about now? Wasn't it you who claimed that bloody writing was his ID number in the first place?
Take a good look at the photo in the bloody writing analysis. Now tell me, does it really say L10015R?
Oh.
Something is missing, isn't it? And that something is the final R. What's the meaning of this, Mr. Tonate?
Oh, right. Now I remember. There was no R on the end. It was just a slip of the finger, my bad.
Come back. My beautiful contradiction. Mr. Wright, I'm not so sure it was just a simple slip of the finger. You have something for me, Athena? I sense that he's extremely agitated, almost panicked. He does look pretty flustered. Well, Mr. Wright, it appears it was nothing more than a mere mistake. I don't know. Did he really just make a typo? What about that R? Did Mr. Tonate really see it? Wait a second. Did he do what I think he did? Wait a second, let me look at the picture. I think I know what this means. The piece of the floor. You see how there's the piece of the floor is gone? It's not there. I was trying to find out exactly why isn't it there? Why is that piece of the floor not there? If she wrote on it, you know, and I was thinking maybe the explosion, but the explosion was what killed her. You know, there wouldn't have been a second explosion. Look at the autopsy. The autopsy report. Trauma to the back of the head caused by an impact of a flat object. He took out the piece of the floor who was loose because of the explosion, and I think he hit her on the back of the head with it. That's what I think it was. He actually saw it. That's why I think that's the murder weapon, the floor. Maybe Mr. Nate really did see the R. But there's no R anywhere in this bloody writing. What's going on here? Huh. Now that I take a good look at the photo, I think maybe... That's it! What is it now, Mr. Wright? Have I got it right? Let's see. Are you trying to intimidate Apollo and his cords of steel? I've got it! So that's what happened. A slip of the finger. Is that really all it was? Because I don't think so. I propose that Mr. Tonate really did see the letter R. But the photo clearly shows that there is no R. No, Your Honor. Actually, just the opposite is true. The photo shows Mr. Tonate actually could have seen the R. If you're going to make that claim, then you better be able to point out what you mean. What part of the photo shows Mr. Tonate could have seen the R? What part of the photo shows that he could have seen the R? It's gotta be this. The save here just in case, but I'm pretty confident I'm right on this.
Take that!
The spot right here. What exactly are you pointing at? Right, here, Your Honor. Or maybe it's this spot over here. No, damn. Okay. See here. There's anything. Could this have fit there?
Take that!
No. He probably took the piece of the rubble back with him. That's probably what ended up happening. He probably took it with him.
Take that!
Please look here to the right of the 5. Do you see a little bit of red? Oh, I see. Just on the edge of where the floor is broken up. That's the R that Mr. Tonate saw.
It's true that the witness wears some very, odd goggles. But that doesn't mean his eyesight is bad, nor his brain power. What part does that little smudge look like an R to you?
But what Mr. Tonate, saw wasn't that little smudge. There's a whole and complete R written there. Before the floor was damaged by the explosion. Oh well, that explains it, huh? Care to explain what you mean? Because you just proposed that everything happened in the exact opposite order. Yup, because that's the way it really went down. The timing of when the R was written turns everything about this case around. Now then, if the floor was damaged by the explosion, when was the message written? Before the explosion. With the bloody message running off the edge of the damaged floor, like that, we can only conclude that it was written before the explosion.
But that's ridiculous.
If that were true, it overturns your own premise. That's right, it does. In fact, it turns everything upside down. The victim was not killed by explosion in the courtroom. She was killed before the explosion ever occurred. Order in the court.
What kind of preposterous claim is this? Have you forgotten that the victim's body was found at the scene of the explosion?
True, but consider this scenario. She was hit on the head and killed before the explosion, or even before the trial began. Her body was subsequently placed in the courtroom ruins after the bombing occurred. That way it could be made to look like she was a victim of the blast. So, she was killed beforehand and then her body was dragged into the courtroom? I thought that he hit her on the back of the head with the piece of the floor. It sounds like we'd better look into what the victim was doing before the trial. Mr. Payne, did anyone see Detective Arm before the trial?
Let's see. According to the police report... here it is. One person. One person saw the victim before the trial. And that person was... Ted Tonate. Wait, what?
No one besides Mr. Tonate saw the victim.
That appears to be the case, Your Honor.
I would now ask the court to recall something. Specifically, Mr. Tonate's words from yesterday.
It was when Detective Arn and I were transporting the bomb.
Oh my. Mr. Tonate, just before the trial, you were with the victim. The two of you were together at the scene of the crime, courtroom number 4. Your Honor, the defense requests new testimony from Mr. Tonate. We wish to hear what he has to say about his whereabouts just before the trial. Mr. Tonate, your testimony, please.
My testimony? There is no need for...
He's completely unnerved, Mr. Wright. You must have hit the nail on the head.
Because, all I did was transport the bomb to the courtroom. I already told you, but... blast this thing.
I was only in the courtroom with the victim because of our work. I swear I was only transporting the bomb there.
Objection!
You and the victim were alone together at the scene of the crime. In other words, you certainly had the opportunity to commit murder, did you not?
Tisk tisk. Do you always leave yourself so open to attacks, Mr. Wright?
What now, Mr. Payne?
Yes, Mr. Tonate may have had the opportunity to kill Detective Arn. But an important piece of your assertion is missing.
What important piece?
The murder weapon. What do you claim was used to kill the victim?
Mr. Payne has a point. Even Mr. Tonate had the chance for the weapon. We can't accuse him of the crime.
Well, Mr. Tonate... yes, that's right. I didn't have any sort of thing that could be used as a murder weapon on me.
I couldn't possibly kill Detective Arm. Did he really have nothing he could use as a murder weapon? What is it, Athena? Just looking over the victim's autopsy report. I'm hoping there's something here that can point us in the right direction. Well, it does say that she died from trauma to the back of the head with a flat object. Yeah, and to inflict that specific kind of injury. All you would need is a flat surface, right? A heavy, blunt object with a flat surface could definitely be our murder weapon. The floor? Am I right? Is it the floor? Well, Mr. Wright, can you indicate for the court what was used to kill Detective Arm? I believe I can. Believe being the key word here.
You can?
Then please do so now. What did Mr. Tonate have that could have been used as a murder weapon? The bomb switch? Could that be it? It has to be a flat object. Yeah, it literally has to be the bomb switch. I can't think of anything else that it could be.
Take that!
Ah, you fell right into my trap. So you confirmed that this piece of evidence was not the murder weapon. That narrows my candidates down by 1. I hope you don't intend to answer by process by elimination, Mr. Wright. Ah, great. Yeah, thought I had it there for a moment. Damn, I'm doing a bit bad on this first case. What did Mr. Tonate have that could be the murder weapon? Wait, it's cracked. Look at that, the bomb is cracked. It's the bomb? He hit her on the back of the head with a bomb? It's cracked. How did I not see this before? Now I feel stupid.
Take that!
Mr. Tonate, you say you didn't have anything that could be used as a weapon. But in fact, you had the perfect, thing. What? What the devil are you talking about? You had this. That's the bomb. I thought you were trying to prove that the victim wasn't killed by the bomb blast. How ironic. The bomb blast, no, but I believe Candace's arm was killed with this bomb. Because this is the blunt object that delivered the fatal blow to her head. Please recall the description of Detective Arm's head wound. Trauma to back of head caused by impact with a flat object. We assume this injury was sustained when her head hit the floor. But a blow from any flat side of this bomb would produce the exact same wound pattern. Arg. Arg, arg. Is he gonna break down? Ha 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 ha. What is he laughing at? What's with him? Then show me some proof. Where's the evidence that I hit the victim with the bomb? Ugh. He's right. I don't have anything decisive. Did you find any of the victim's blood in the bomb? That would be decisive proof. But too bad, the bomb is blown to bits. It's long gone. Boom. Game over, yeah. Ah. Mr. Wright, is there really nothing on the bomb in the photo? There is, the crack. Ah, I don't see any blood or anything. Wait, the timer display's a little broken here. Maybe it broke when he made contact with Detective Arm's head. That's definitely a distinct possibility. But unless we find a fragment with the victim's blood on it, it's not going to count. I guess you're right. By setting off the bomb, Tonate managed to obliterate all traces of the murder weapon. What in the world do I do now? At times like this, I've got to change gears and look at things in a different way. Instead of looking for the things he wasn't able to hide, I should be looking for a way to expose the things he did hide. Ted Tonate murdered Detective Arm before the trial started. Then he placed her body in the courtroom after the bomb went off. Which means there was something he needed to keep hidden until then. And I think I have just the thing. Time to present the photo that shows exactly what Mr. Tonate had to hide. The detonator.
Take that!
Your Honor, please take a look at this. The fact that Mr. Tonate hid this makes it decisive evidence for my case. Aw, damn. I'm struggling with this right now myself. He murdered her before the trial started, then he placed her body in the courtroom after the bomb went off. Which means there was something he needed to keep hidden until then. And I think I have just the thing. Time to present the photo that shows exactly what Mr. Tonate had to hide. Wait a second, no. No, he didn't. He moved the body with the box into court? I think that's what he did. The bomb transport case is bomb-proof. So the body wouldn't have been damaged by the blast. He moved the body with this. This is what he did. He moved the body with this case.
Take that!
I chose this before, but the fact Mr. Tonate hid this makes it decisive evidence for my case. Damn, it's... I know I'm on the right track. I know I'm right. I know I'm right here. I don't know how that's wrong. Maybe
Take
this?
that!
Your Honor, there's something we've all been overlooking. If the murder took place before the trial, then Mr. Tonate would have had to hide the body somewhere during the trial. Hey, you're right, and if we can figure out where that hiding place was... Exactly. We might be able to find some evidence we can pin him down with. So where could Mr. Tonate have hidden the body during the trial? Oh, I got it now. Now I'm on the right path, I know this.
Take that!
The bomb transport case. Wait. A box big enough for a body, a box that was in the courtroom the whole time? A box nobody would touch if they thought there was a bomb in it. Mr. Tonate.
What is it? Do you finally have some decisive evidence to show me?
No, you're the one who's going to show it to me.
Come again?
You heard me. Now show me what's inside the bomb transport case. What? Why? No. There's no need. I got it. I'm on the right path now. I've got him now. Just before the trial, you killed the victim with a blunt object. And then you placed her body in the ruins of the courtroom after the bomb went off. Clearly you were trying to make it look like she died in an explosion, but where's the body before? But where was the body hidden during the trial? Oh, I hadn't thought of that. The answer is right here. Inside a box made of thick alloy plating that can withstand any impact. No, that's completely false. If it's false, you should have no objections to showing us your transport case. So let's open it up and take a look inside, shall we? It's gonna have a ton of blood in there.
Let's not. Not if you value your life.
What's he up to now?
Remain calm and listen carefully. This bomb will detonate in 5 minutes.
What? Huh?
I repeat, this HA-3000 will detonate in 5 minutes.
What's going on?
Your Honor, I recommend you adjourn this trial before this bomb goes off.
Mr. Tonate, are you threatening me?
I am the only one who can disable this bomb. If you do not want to die, your only option is to listen to me. But Mr. Tonate, didn't you say, that's just a training model, a fake to practice on? I did, but I also lied. This is the real deal. This is the HA-3000.
But the HA-3000 was used to blow up the courtroom number 4, wasn't it?
How do you know it was the real HA-3000 that blew up the courtroom number 4?
Huh?
The bomb that blew up the courtroom was a different one. One that I made.
What? Then are we to take that as a confession on your part?
Take it any way you would like.
Just before this trial,
I took the HA-3000 out of the stuffed animal and put my own bomb into it. That was the bomb that exploded and destroyed courtroom number 4. Mr. Tonate, please be reasonable. Do you really expect us to believe a crazy story like that? The HA-3000, it is so unique, I had never seen anything like it. It is so unique that I could not replicate the detonation mechanism. So, I just had to have it. Besides, did anyone look inside the stuffed animal during the trial? Did anyone check to see if it really was the HA-3000 in there?
I must confess, no one opened the stuffed animal to check.
So, there really is a possibility the bomb was switched out? No, not a possibility, a certainty. I did it.
So he's had a real bomb with him this whole time.
You had better get out of here while you can. You do not have much time.
Order in the court. I'm out of here. It's gonna blow. Run! The jury left.
You 4 are still here. Well, aren't you brave?
It just wouldn't do for the judge presiding over this court to run. But that horrible explosion the other day. The judge looks like he's about to book it for the nearest exit any second. As for Mr. Payne, that is, and he's off. Mr. Wright, what do we do? It better be pretty pathetic to run now, wouldn't it? He's bluffing, I don't think it's a real bomb, but the bomb might really go off.
Only 3 more minutes, folks.
Is that bomb really the HH-3000? What should I do? Stand my ground. I'm standing my ground, I'm not running. I can't run now.
Well, it's been fun now, but I will be going now. With my dear, HH-3000, naturally. Oh, and by the way, I would advise against having me followed. Even with no remote switching, this bomb can still be triggered manually. If I think I'm being followed, I will detonate on the spot. Farewell.
Hold it!
You're not going anywhere, Ted Tonate.
Oh?
Your Honor, there's no reason to be afraid. That bomb is a fake. Are you sure, Mr. Wright?
More of your famous bluffing? Even at the risk of your own life?
Mr. Wright, none of your bluffing now. Not at a time like this. Lives are on the line here. I'm not bluffing, and I have proof. You do? Yes, of course, Your Honor. It's right here in the photo of the bomb, clear as day. Prove that Mr. Tonate's bomb is not the real HH-3000. Really? Out with it then, immediately. Where's the proof that what Mr. Tonate is holding is not the real HH-3000? What part shows it's not the real bomb? Proof that it's not the real bomb. Was it the color of the timer? The color of the timer was yellow, but on this one it's red.
Take that!
The display for the timer and the bomb in this photo is broken. Most likely broke Mr. Tonate used the bomb to attack Detective Arm. But the display and the bomb in front of us is not broken. Oh, you're right. Therefore, this is not the real HH-3000. Mr. Tonate was clearly lying when he said he switched out the bomb and the stuffed animal. The real HH-3000 blew up in courtroom number 4. The bomb is nothing more than a fake, a model used for training purposes. Fear not, Your Honor. I will examine the inside of the bomb transport case myself. Yes, please do that, Mr. Wright. No! Stop! Look, there we go, we got him. What is that? Is that a bloodstain? Just as I expected. Your lies have all been blown to bits, Mr. Tonate. I'm confident DNA analysis on this bloodstain will confirm that it's Detective Arm's blood. And those results will conclusively prove that you murdered Detective Arm. Ugh. How about it, Mr. Tonate? Think you can dismantle this decisive evidence? Dismantle it. Ah, you're too late. You missed your chance to run, so now you're out of time. This HA-3000 about to explode. Don't try to threaten us, Mr. Tonate. I've already proved that your bomb is a fake. It's real. This bomb is the real thing, I tell you. It's real. Mad Bomber Party of One. There's no time left. It's going to blow. I have to disarm it. I have to take it apart. I can dismantle anything. I can take apart evidence. I can take apart bombs. I can dismantle it all. Dismantle, 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 dismantle. Stop! Made it. Game over. Dismantle attempt failed. Ha ha ha. It's all over. My life has been blown to pieces. It's all that stupid woman's fault. I was selling the bombs I disarmed on the black market. When I tried to take this one, she just had to notice, didn't she? She confronted me in courtroom number 4 that day. That's why I had no choice. Before I knew what I was doing, I hit her. It's all her fault. While I was looking for a place to hide her body, she left a message in her own blood. The trial was about to start, so I didn't have time to clean it up. And now all this. I thought for sure I could disguise her death with an explosion. Then that stupid defense attorney started sticking his nose into my business. After my testimony yesterday, I went to courtroom number 4 and I found that kid, all up in my bomb transport case. That's when I snuck up behind him and bam! And when that idiot police arrested that, when idiot police arrested that little girl, I thought for sure I could pin it all on her. Why? Oh, why? Ted Tonate, you are hereby under arrest. On suspicion of the courtroom bombing and the assault of Mr. Justice, your innocence or guilt will be determined at a later trial. Now then, I see that members of the public have returned to the gallery. One person, however, seems to still be running far, far away. Payne left. Be that as it may, I will now announce Mr. Juniper Wood's verdict. Not guilty. Yay, we won. And the jury's back. No prosecutor. Court is adjourned. December 18, 12:31 p.m. District Court. Defendant lobby. Number 5. You did it, boss. Yeah, I guess we managed to pull it off somehow. So many mysteries cleared up all at once. It was amazing. It just sort of worked out that way, didn't it? That's not the kind of thing that usually just works out. You made it happen. And the way that mean old prosecutor hightailed it out of here, that was great. Mr. Wright, Thena, thank you for everything you did for me. I'm so happy for you, Junie. Now you can go back home to the forest in peace. I hope the both of you will come and visit me there sometime. That would be nice. Thank you for the invitation. I don't know, Mr. Wright. I'm not so sure you could make it all the way up to Junie's house. How high up do you live again, Junie? Around 3,000 feet, I think. What? That's no forest, that's a mountain. But you know, boss, there's something that still bothers me about the case. One little mystery we never got around to solving. Oh, that? Yeah, I was wondering about that too. Is this the unsolved mystery you're thinking of? The detonator? Missing a remote switch, yeah.
Take that!
The remote switch, right? Yeah, I wonder where it disappeared to. Maybe Mr. Tonate just got rid of it somewhere. Yeah, it's a pretty big thing to leave unsolved, though. Well, let's leave it up to the police to find. For now, we should be celebrating our not guilty verdict. I guess you're right. Hey, I know. Junie, shall we go report the good news? You know, to that certain someone. Okay. Huh? Her grandmother? No, silly, to Apollo. Oh, right. Well, why don't we all go to the hospital together to see him? Great idea, I bet he's bored out of his mind. Okay. And so the courtroom bombing case came to a close. But the next trial was just over the horizon. There's never a dull moment with so many lawyers in the office, that's for sure. Apollo Justice, Athena Sykes, and me, Phoenix Wright. Between the three of us, there's no case we can't solve. When our powers combine, we're an unstoppable team. At least, that's what I believed. But all of that changed with what Apollo said to us that day. It was something that would put my faith in us to the ultimate test. Date? Time? Write anything? Agency? What's this?
Sorry, but I'll be taking a leave of absence.
Wait, what do you mean by a leave?
Can you at least give me a reason why? I can only say that this is something I must settle on my own.
What was that about?
Oh, why, Apollo? Why are you shutting us out?
What happened to you, Apollo? Ever since you put that jacket on, you've changed. And now, for whatever reason, all my mind keeps doing is returning to the day I first met you. We had tackled our first case together. He and I, this past spring. And as we did, I came to know who he is and how he thinks. It was a very peculiar case, one in which the victim was killed by a mythical creature? What? Okay, so I guess that's the end of this, that is the end of this case here, guys. I guess the only thing I was kind of off on was the timer at the end. I guess it was kind of smashed, but I was thinking that the, that wasn't really that important. I thought it was more the color of the timer. I thought it was more of a yellowish color. That's what I thought about personally. But thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this, do drop a like, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.